Jimmy Uso says that Roman Reigns and the rest of the original bloodline need help. Let's talk about it.
The Rock says, the Rock says.
With Survivor Series right around the corner, the much anticipated Bloodline Civil Wars games match is upon us. But Roman's got a lot of work to do before he can bring back his original team. Now, let's talk about every single member of the bloodline, the original bloodline, and where they are right now, and what may have to happen in order to bring them into this crazy storyline with the new bloodline and now The Rock. So we're gonna start out first with the one guy who we know for sure is not gonna be on Roman's side, Solo Sakoa. Now, Solo's evolution of his character has been a bit odd because when he was in NXT, he wasn't the character that he is now. He was a street champion. He was more of he kind of reminded me of if Samoa Joe and Umaga fused together, it would be Solo Sikoa. He was a hard-hitting Samoan wrestler. There was nothing really out of the ordinary about him. He was uber athletic, and he reminded me a lot of Umaga, but aside from that, he was just Solo Sikoa. And he was never really in the NXT title hunt for real. And the next thing you know, he's saving Roman Reigns from Drew McIntyre at Clash of the Castle. So after that, he then goes for the North American Championship and wins it. Okay. He's on SmackDown with the Bloodline every single week. Okay. And now he's this super stoic character who doesn't really say much. He claims he acknowledges Roman Reigns, but there's always this hint of jealousy. Now, my question is, what has been Solo's motivation this entire time? The whole thing about Solo is that he was sent by the elders, right? Now, who are the elders? Alpha and Sika of the Wild Samoans, Sika being Roman's father, and Rikishi, who is the Usos and Solo's dad, and of course, The Rock. So this, based on what they've told us, this committee of elders came together and they acknowledged one individual to be the tribal chief. This is why Alpha and Sika came out to put the Ulafala on Roman back at, what show was it? Night of Champions, I believe it was. So after WrestleMania, Solo just started to claim that he was the tribal chief, but we never seen anyone actually bestow that title upon him. Roman had to go through trial and have the Ulafala placed on him by his dad. You would think that Rikishi would come back and be the one to bestow the Ulafala onto Solo, the same way that Roman had to do, but there was no passing of the torch. Now, there was that one segment where Roman said that, hey, the next tribal chief will be Solo, but there should be some sort of tribal combat or something to indicate that this is the guy that we're going to go with. He is the one we're going to acknowledge. And so that's been the most confusing thing about this whole bloodline story is where does Solo feel that he has the right to be bestowed the moniker of tribal chief, other than the fact that of these new bloodline members acknowledging him. Now let's talk about the Usos. We all know that Jay is over on Raw doing his own thing. The man has become a tag team champion with Cody Rhodes. He's had, he's definitely over. But when it comes to the win-loss column, he hasn't had as much success as you would think he has, considering the popularity he has. But he is now your new Intercontinental Champion. And after 14 years on the roster, he's just now getting his singles run. And he's been as far away from the bloodline as humanly possible. I don't even think he's even had much dealings with Cody Rhodes. And Cody can't seem to get enough of the bloodline. Now, of course, he's had run-ins with Sami, and they've even hinted at them becoming a tag team and going to the tag team championships, which made me believe that, okay, this is the direction and how we're going to get Sami and Jay on the same page to then go back to the bloodline. But they just stopped doing that when Jay went after Braun Breaker to win the IC belt. And so with all that going on, Jay seems to not have anything to do with the bloodline whatsoever. And now you have Jimmy, who was taken out first by Solo and Tama Tonga when all of this started, the SmackDown right after WrestleMania. He's been gone since. So he just now returned at Bad Blood to help Roman, but he's the only one there. Paul's gone. Obviously, like I said, Jay's gone, Sami's gone, Solo's on the other side plotting against Roman. So literally, Roman has no one aside from Jimmy. And Jimmy states this on this past episode of SmackDown, where he's like, "Yo, we are no longer the ones. You are a chief without a tribe. You need some help. There's only one person that I know that will help us," which I find to be funny because Jimmy has a lot of confidence that he can be the one to get Jay to come back when he was the one that turned on Jay in the first place. I don't know if they've tried to throw a swerve at us, but I found it very interesting that Jimmy was the one to say that I know one person that will help, as if he knows for a fact that he could be the one to get him on board with coming back. I don't think so. And now we have Sami Zayn. Now, Sami is, while he is the other original member of the Bloodline, his status is a little bit up in the air. And the only reason why I say that is because there's a looming factor of Zilla Fatu. Zilla Fatu was in the audience at Bad Blood. And we know that he is signed to WWE, but he still has, I think he's signed to WWE, but he still has appearances at Hog Wrestling. So he's defending their belt, which is ironically called the Crown Jewel. So he's defending that championship there. So we don't know when he's going to actually make his debut. But it would be pretty cool to see Roman having a surprise entrant and Zilla Fatu being the one to come out. And that way it keeps everything under the Samoan umbrella. No offense to Sami. I would love Sami to come out. But what would you rather see? Would you rather see Zilla Fatu debut or Sami Zayn come out at Survivor Series? I'm gonna leave it up to y'all. Let me know in the comments what y'all want to see. And so Sami has his own things going on with Gunther going off for the World Heavyweight Championship, which he was not successful in capturing this past Monday. And it seems like he doesn't have a direction on where to go. So that could be hinting that he's going to be opening up more space for him to be able to interact with the Bloodline. But there's a lot of work that's going to have to be done to kind of make it make sense for Roman to go over to Raw to get them to. I kind of found it a little bit too easy for Jimmy to just jump in and say, "I'm back with you, Roman." He never left him, but I don't know. I just kind of felt like Roman would have had more work to do to get people more on his side. And what I find funny is the direction of the character that Roman had. I was expecting him to come back to be this super angry, almost insecure version of himself. Not really sure who he is anymore now that everything's been taken away from him. But also, as he stated in that cinematic promo with Cody, man without a country. He has nothing to lose. So this energy of I'm still in God mode and him walking around as if he is still the champion, I kind of found a bit misleading. And the reason why I say that is if you have the whole story of the fall of Olympus is being at the top of the mountain, being a god, and then having everything stripped away from you and the world seeing that a god can bleed, you lose your championship, you walk out and you're carried out on your shield, no pun intended, your entire family turns against you, Jay's gone, Jimmy gets taken out, Paul Heyman is gone, the one person that makes the plans for you is gone, and you have nothing, and your entire family is looking at you, trying to destroy you and keep you away from this thing that you held so dear. So now you have to come back and fight for everything all over again. So him trying to come back to be the God mode character, in hindsight, I think it works now that they're kind of playing at he's delusional. Like he thinks that he's still that, but no, you don't have anything. You don't have anyone. And Jimmy gave the perfect line at the end of their promo on SmackDown when he said, "You will always be my tribal chief, but I'm the only one in the family that still acknowledges you." Now that stings. That to me is probably the biggest, most pivotal turning point of this storyline since Roman's coming back. Probably since the SmackDown after WrestleMania. The Rock tried his best to bring that energy out, but it just wasn't working on that Monday Night Raw afterwards when he told Cody, "I'm coming for you." But this was pivotal because you begin to see that the world and this idea of the world, mind you, from Roman began to crumble. Like, oh wait, everything is gone. I have really lost everything, and I can't really beat these guys. And speaking of beating, Solo, one of his first promo that he cut becoming tribal chief was wins and losses have consequences. At what point does Solo, the new tribal chief, have to pay for his consequences of losing continuously? Now, I know the rumor was they wanted to wait on bringing Jacob Fatu into the fray because they were afraid he was going to outshine Solo. He did. But you, as the tribal chief, can't be the one taking pins. You have the tag team champions and the Tongans, so you don't really have the luxury of having one of those guys take pins for you in the match that you're involved in, unless it's Solo and the Tongans versus, XYZ, include babyface name here. So if you're the one that's always taking the pins, but you're supposed to be the tribal chief and everyone's supposed to be acknowledging you, and Cody Rhodes has beaten you twice for the championship, what does that say about you as the chief? And I feel as though they never really acknowledged, again, no pun intended, the fact that Solo continues to lose. Even before all of this happened, Solo was the guy taking the pins. Leading up to WrestleMania, he was the guy taking the pins. The last most dominant victory that he had was against John Cena. I think it was last November at Crown Jewel. So this whole idea of Solo as tribal chief isn't working. It's very accurate. But my whole thing is, what are they trying to go for? That's what leads me to believe that The Rock is behind all of this. Because if Solo was the person that he was supposed to be, you wouldn't see Solo losing this much. Now, I feel like they may have rushed the whole Cody versus Solo thing, just because, well, who else was Cody supposed to fight? But losing twice, I think he's been pinned like 3 times in the last month or 2 months, where Roman was pinned, twice in 3.5 years? Who should be acknowledged? What is there to acknowledge? Right? So the direction of the Bloodline story is right now just being held together by the fact that Roman has returned. But now that Jimmy has put into everyone's mind and made everyone realize, don't nobody acknowledge you, bruh. You throwing up the ones, and yeah, the crowd acknowledges you, but your family doesn't. So you gotta pay for your sins to get everybody back. I got your back. I'm on your side, but no one else is. And now you're gonna have to answer for your sins. So, as I said, Jay is doing his own thing. Jimmy's right there by his side, but you can't. I mean, at the end of SmackDown showed you, Jimmy is just one guy, and he's a tag team guy. So it's not like he's going to have much true help when it comes to one of the greatest tag teams in New Japan history, and Solo Sakoa and the freak animal Samoan werewolf that is Jacob Fatu. So now that we've put out into the universe that the Bloodline needs help, we're finally starting to see a vulnerable Roman Reigns again. And that's what I've been waiting for. I enjoy seeing God Mode Roman, but I don't want to see God Mode Roman right now. I want to see a vulnerable Roman Reigns. I want to see a scared Roman Reigns. Who, if I was the one booking his return, Roman probably wouldn't have this epic music. You know what I mean? He wouldn't have all the pyro. I get it from a business standpoint. It makes sense because the man just bleeds money. But you have to tell the story of this Titan is finally fallen. And now he has to find his way of walking again and climbing back up the mountain, and how dangerous of a climb it is. He's never faced anything like this before. Not when he was the big dog, not when he was with the Shield. This is the first time Roman is truly at odds, truly at a disadvantage. In the last 4 years, is truly a disadvantage of he may not win this. Especially now with The Rock coming back, because The Rock really has all the power. The Rock is a high chief. He's on the board of directors. He's the final boss. So who really is the head of the table? And so you have this machine of this new bloodline, which I'd imagine moving forward would be a lot more dominant than they have been in the past, couple months. And we'll actually get to see like I said, a vulnerable Roman Reigns. Now, how does Roman get everyone back under the same accord, under the same page, to not only go to war for him, but go to war with him? And that is the story that WWE is going to have to tell leading into Survivor Series. So let me guys know what you think. Let me know how you would book Roman Reigns' redemption story and how he would get everyone back under the same umbrella and bring back the original bloodline. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow on Instagram. We are now on Instagram at Flash Pro Wrestling. I'll see you guys there as always, and I'll see you down the road. And as always, be safe, be kind, be blessed. Peace.
The Rock says,